Desmond wanted to confront Annabelle about the night event, but realized he didn't have the right to. Since they were divorced, he had no business with how she lived her life. During the second meeting, he couldn't concentrate. His mind would drift back to the voice, the moans, the screams. It was as if his wife cheated on him. He wasn't supposed to feel the pain, but he was damn hurt, really hurt. Throughout the meeting, he didn't say anything. This was his worst business trip, and it was all because of Annabelle. For Annabelle, she was freely socializing and smiling with everyone. After the meeting, he tried to approach Annabelle and confirm his doubt, but he couldn't. He was scared his assumption might be true. He tried several times, but he couldn't. He went back to his room. The next day, he managed to interact and exchange contacts with big investors. At least he wouldn't be leaving empty-handed. Annabelle had messed everything up for him. 2 days later, Daniella and Leonard were lounging in the living room when they heard the sound of a car driving up the driveway. They exchanged a panicked glance. "Who could that be?" Leonard asked. "Relax, let me go and check," Daniella said and got up from the seat. She went to the window. She nearly screamed when she saw Desmond coming out of the black Mercedes-Benz. "Oh no, it can't be," she mumbled and turned to Leonard. He could see fear written all over her face. "Who is that?" Leonard asked. "It's Desmond," Daniella whispered, her eyes wide with fear. Leonard's face turned pale. "Why is he back by this time? He's not supposed to be back yet. This is not time for talking. Quick, go upstairs and clear out your stuff from Desmond's room. Get rid of anything that will implicate us, and leave using the back door. He mustn't see you here." Leonard nodded and took off, racing up the stairs as quietly as possible. Daniella smoothed out her clothes and composed herself. She would try to hold Desmond back to give Leonard enough time to clear out his belongings and leave. She took a deep breath and walked towards the door, with a bright smile plastered on her face to welcome Desmond. She got to the door and opened it. "Welcome home, sweetie," she greeted, and gave him a soft hug. "I missed you so much." "I've missed you too. How are you doing?" he asked and broke the hug. It wasn't that fine. It was quite difficult to stay alone in this mansion. "Thank God you are back." She gave him a peck and walked into the living room with him. "I am surprised to see you today. What brings you home so early?" she asked, trying to sound casual despite the panic racing through her veins. "I had enough and decided to come back." "All right, how was the trip?" Daniella asked. "It was fine," he replied. Daniella smiled and leaned in to kiss him. "I'm glad you're back. I missed you." Desmond kissed her back, but his eyes narrowed slightly. Something didn't feel right. He couldn't quite put his finger on it, but he sensed that something was off. Meanwhile, Leonard was still in Desmond's room, hastily packing his belongings into a suitcase. He was almost done, but he knew he had to get out of there fast. He didn't want to get caught by Desmond. Leonard zipped up the suitcase and grabbed his phone. He quickly sent a text to Daniella, letting her know that he was ready to leave. Daniella's phone buzzed in her pocket. She discreetly pulled it out and read the text. She nodded to herself and turned back to Desmond. "Hey, I'm going to go make you some coffee," she said. "Do you want some?" Desmond nodded, still sensing that something was off, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. As Daniella walked away, Leonard snuck down the stairs, his suitcase in hand. He quickly made his way to the back door and slipped out just as Daniella was walking back into the room with the coffee. Desmond's eyes narrowed. He could have sworn he heard the back door open and close, but when he turned to Daniella, she just smiled and handed him a cup of coffee. Desmond took the coffee from her and asked, "I think I heard the door make some noise. Are you with anyone in this house?" "No, not at all. I'm all alone, as you left me," Daniella replied. "Are you sure?" Desmond asked again. He was sure he heard something. "Yeah, I'm all alone," she replied. Leonard had made a successful escape and was already far from the mansion. It was as if he'd escaped a lion's den. "Actually, I have some good news for you. I've been waiting for you to come back. I'll leave you to rest. I'll inform you later, okay?" Desmond raised an eyebrow. "What is it? You can tell me now." Daniella smiled and shook her head. "No, I'll tell you later. Trust me, you'll be happy." Desmond's curiosity was piqued, but he decided to let it go for now. He was too tired to press the issue further. After he was done with the coffee, they headed to his room. As he entered the room, he was immediately hit with a strange scent. It was a musky, masculine smell that didn't belong in his room. "What happened in this room?" he asked. "What is it? Any problem?" Daniella asked. Desmond's eyes scanned the room, trying to locate the source of the smell. He sniffed around, but the scent seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Daniella didn't need any prophet to tell her that Desmond was not comfortable. "Is everything okay, Desmond?" she asked, trying to sound nonchalant. But Desmond's instincts were on high alert. He knew that something was off. "What's that smell?" he asked. Daniella hesitated for some moments before responding to him. I don't know what you are talking about. The room is as you left it, she stammered. Maybe it's just the new air freshener I put in the room. Desmond raised his eyebrow. He wasn't buying it. He knew that Daniella was hiding something from him, but he couldn't quite put his finger on what it was. He scanned around the room again, searching for any sign of what might be the cause of the smell. But everything seemed normal. The bed was made, the dresser was tidy, and there was no sign that someone had been in the room. He removed his clothes, leaving only his shorts. I will go and take my bath. Honey, remember I told you I have good news for you? Daniella spoke up while they were eating. What is it? Desmond asked. I got a contract for you. Which contract? How? Do you know anything about business or contracts? You must be joking. Desmond didn't take it seriously. No, I'm not, Daniella replied. I submitted an application to Zachlid Group, telling them about you, and they sent an invitation to come and sign the contract. This is getting serious. What contract is it? You will find out on the signing day. This is the invitation. She gave it to him. Desmond's eyes widened in shock as he stared at the invitation paper. Desmond's mind was racing with excitement. $1 billion? Is this real? No one can fake a Zachlid Group invitation card and contract notice, Daniella replied. It's real. We are becoming billionaires soon. She smiled, looking pleased with herself. She took a sip of her wine, savoring the moment. Desmond's mind was reeling. $1 billion contract was a game changer. It's the kind of contract that would take his business to a higher level. He had been working tirelessly to expand his company, which was the reason he went on the business trip. This deal could be the key to unlocking his dreams. But how did Daniella manage to secure such a massive deal? Desmond's eyes locked onto Daniella's, searching for answers. How did you do it? He asked. His curiosity was getting the better of him. He leaned forward, dropping his elbows on the table, then clasped his hands together in anticipation. Daniella leaned in with a sly smile spreading across her face. Let's just say I have my ways, she answered. Desmond's mind began to race with questions. What did Daniella mean by her ways? What kind of connections did she have that could secure such a massive deal? And what exactly did she do to convince the Zachlid Group to partner with him? Few days later, Annabelle and her brother, Jethro, had returned from the business trip. Sister, Jethro called as Annabelle was about to leave for an appointment. I hope you are preparing for the Zachlid Group ceremony. As their biggest shareholder, I'm sure you won't miss it. The last time I checked, they hadn't fixed a date for it. I heard the advanced driver's assistant system of the latest electric car they wanted to launch was having a glitch. Did you hear from them? Annabelle asked. Yeah, I think it has been resolved. I was invited for the launching ceremony. The event will be held on the 18th, which is day after tomorrow. They didn't give you an invitation letter? Jethro asked. He was surprised. He had received an invitation letter, and she hadn't. Though he wouldn't be going, he would be attending a more important event. No, I haven't even heard from them, she replied, and just then her phone rang. She checked her phone, and it was the senior manager of the Zachlid Group. She picked up and placed the phone to her ear. Good morning, Miss Annabelle. I want to remind you that tomorrow is the launching day. Sorry I didn't ask if you received the invitation letter. I believed you had received it, the man said, and Annabelle looked at Jethro. Jethro raised his eyebrows questioningly. Yeah, I received it, Annabelle admitted, knowing that something fishy had happened. That's good. As written on the invitation letter, the contract will be given to your husband. It will be a great surprise for him, the senior manager said. None of them were aware of the divorce. Yeah, Annabelle nodded. It will be a very big surprise to him. Yeah, we can't wait to see you tomorrow. Have a great day, the senior manager finished and hung up. Who was that? Jethro inquired. Senior manager of the Zachlid Group, Annabelle answered. He was asking if I received the invitation letter. I think they took it to Desmond's house, thinking I'm still with him. That gold digger must have collected it. That's correct. Daniella must have collected it. It was given to my personal assistant during the period we were out on the business trip, and Desmond was among the attendees. Now she will claim she got the letter for him. She will also claim that she worked out the $1 billion contract for him. I know more than what she can do. Annabelle smiled. A $1 billion contract? That's huge. What are you going to do now? Jethro asked. Are you going to tell them what happened? They will stop them from coming and cancel the contract. No, let them come, Annabelle replied. I want to have some fun with them. I will humiliate Daniella at the event. The $1 billion contract will not be signed without my permission. I'm in charge of it, and I have the power to revoke it. She won't see it coming. My soft-hearted elder sister is becoming a villain. Jethro gave a wicked smile. That is what they deserve. They will regret ever hurting me. Watch out for part 9.